Yes, I actually do think it affects IVF success, because during the process of IVF, again, you've got this very complex IVF drugs. You're stimulating your ovaries. Normally, an ovary will produce one dominant follicle a month, and it'll pop an egg out into the fallopian tube, and off you go. Bob's your uncle. Hopefully, it gets fertilized. Maybe not. Obviously, with IVF, mostly they're trying to push the ovaries to produce as many mature eggs as possible. And that requires extra nutrients. So things like protein, you've got to watch your protein. So there are lots of studies on the use of milk and protein powders. Milk is an interesting one, actually. I myself, if somebody isn't intolerant of dairy, or there are proper reasons why they shouldn't have milk, I'm afraid not liking it is not a good enough reason for me. But if it makes them sick, I think the research on milk during stims is very interesting. It seems that full fat dairy does impact IVF outcome. And if you think about it, there's probably multiple reasons for this. Milk is for growing baby animals bigger. That is its main function. So it must contain, well, it does. It contains growth factors. Do these growth factors act on the follicles? Do they help the follicles mature? Do they help the eggs mature? Full fat milk has got fat soluble vitamins in it, like vitamin A and beta carotene. We know beta carotene impacts the way ovaries work. Beta carotene is found in orange vegetables and dark green leaves. If a cow, I'm very keen on them being organic, eats organic grass and clover and things like that, it's very rich in beta carotene, so it will go into the cow's milk, and then we'll have it and it will go into us. And it seems to be very good for all our ovaries, both the cow and humans. Different essential fatty acids is in full fat milk. If you take the fat out of milk and you make it just skimmed, you're going to have the protein, you're going to have the calcium, but you're not going to have those complex array of nutrients that I've just talked about. And also estrogen. It's an estrogenic food product. And estrogen, again, is fat soluble. So you take the fat out of the milk, and you've lost a lot of those nutrients that potentially may impact your IVF outcome. So I'm quite a fan of that. I use whey protein powder, quite a protein-rich diet, but not loads of meat, actually. Not a great fan of big meat-eating diets during fertility treatment. And again, your antioxidant-rich foods. You want to protect your eggs from damage. That's what antioxidants do. They're like your army of cell protectors, basically, against the free radicals, which are on the other side. We need our free radicals, actually, for implantation and also for sperm fertilization. But if we have too many free radicals and not enough antioxidants which come from our diet, we get cell damage, and that's egg damage. So again, we've got protein, we've got all the things in milk, we've got our antioxidant rich diet with lots of carotenes. And I also give people flaxseed powder, because there's lots of really interesting. I tend to look at animal research quite a lot, because fertility of animals is financially very beneficial. So there's lots of research into how, bull sperm of breeding male animals has been far better research than sperm of breeding men. A good bull's file of bull sperm is worth a fortune. And those farmers know how to feed those bulls. They know the things that they're meant to eat to get good quality sperm. And the same with dairy cows. They undergo IVF, essentially. They don't just meet some nice bull in the field. They just have to have IVF, and because they constantly have to lactate, so their ovaries get hammered. And we know from research that flax, which contains compounds called lignans also seem to be very good for the ovaries. So lots of human research around IVF looking at whole grain consumption, because whole grains contain lignans, But flaxseed powder is very high in lignans, so I tend to give people just get them to have it in their breakfast. But the research on lignans is very good around IVF. So so there are a lot. In answer to that, I do believe that diet impacts IVF outcome.